do is just dress the cake with some beautiful blackberries. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me again for another episode of Brinda Cooks the Books. It is approximately 90 degrees in Brooklyn today, and I'm in my kitchen, naturally about to bake a cake. So today I'm going to be baking a cake from Benjamina Aboihi's book, The New Way to Cake. You might know her from one season of the Great British Bake Off. This is her book that just came out in December of last year, and it is now one of my favorite, very favorite cake books because it uses all sorts of really interesting spices and almost savory ingredients to flavor the cakes. And they're all decorated super simply, so any home cook and novice baker like myself can pull them off. So today I'm going to be specifically making the fig, blackberry, and tahini cake, which I promise is as delicious as it sounds. We're just going to start with some softened butter. We have 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons, so that is a stick. It is very melty, and almost 2 sticks, but just about, leave about 2 tablespoons left over. And then we are going to cream it with a cup of brown sugar. And you can use light or dark brown sugar. You just want to make sure that you use brown sugar. There's only a cup in here, and so you want to just like pack in as much flavor as you can. And brown sugar has all of that delicious molassesy flavor. So, you know, scant 1 cup. And I'm going to use this new contraption that I've never used before, this electric whisk. Usually I just fly with a hand whisk. So we're just going to see how this goes. Oh, that already didn't go well. Try this again. That was horrible. Jeez. Alright, so it's been a few minutes. I'm sweating profusely, but our butter and sugar are now creamed into a super pale and fluffy mixture. So to this, we are, gonna add the tahini. And I'm sure you have worked with tahini before. It is sesame paste that is super savory and nutty and delicious. So just gonna put a few tablespoons in here, just 3 tablespoons. And, oh, lots of things malfunctioning today. My tahini separated. I'm just gonna stir it up a little bit. You know, good enough. Just 3 tablespoons. So as you can see, I am very warm, so I've been avoiding doing this, but I have to turn on the oven. And I'm going to put it at 350 degrees and then get back to my batter. So I actually forgot to stick in a little bit of vanilla extract. You just want to add in a teaspoon. Put a teaspoon in there. And then I'm not even going to bother with the whisk for this one. I'm just going to mix it all up in here. Now that the tahini is all mixed in, I'm going to put in some eggs, 1 at a time, and beating really well until all the eggs are combined in the batter. Even though we just used 3 tablespoons of tahini, which is relatively a small amount for this much batter, it is so nutty and fragrant and yeah, just like a really complex taste that elevates the cake in such a remarkable way. Just mixed in the second egg, and I'm gonna get the last one in here. So now you can see that the third egg is mixed in and the batter is super glossy and luscious and rich, and it's going to be such a great foundation for our dry ingredients, which we're going to add next. This cake actually uses a relatively small amount of flour. It's 1 3/4 cups, and we're gonna actually add the cup and the 3/4 at different times, just to kind of incorporate it into the batter a little bit more gently. Measure your flour this way. Just take a spoon and put it in the measuring cup, and that way it won't pack down so tightly. You can get a more accurate measurement of flour. So then when it's all in there, just sweep across like that so you get kind of a pretty consistent cup, and just dump it in. Just mix in the flour to combine. If you overmix the batter and kind of get aggressive with trying to get out all your lumps in the flour, your cake will be pretty tough because the gluten will have developed by just like agitation of the batter. So we're gonna be real gentle. So now we have the first half of our flour, or like the first portion of our flour in there. We're going to add a few, I believe it's 3 tablespoons of milk. And I'm just gonna add that in here. Got our milk. And just gonna stir it into the batter. Now I'm gonna add the rest of my flour and just get the batter all ready to go. Just gonna again be really gentle, stir the batter all together until it looks fairly well combined. It's totally okay if there are a couple of pockets of flour. It's not going to be the end of the world. It will evenly distribute as you bake the cake, and then we're done. So some bad news. I forgot to add baking powder, which is really important to make the cake rise. Please don't forget that, like I did. And also a pinch of salt to help kind of mellow out all of the sweetness and sort of the nuttiness in the batter, and add a little bit more nuance. So we're gonna try it again. The batter is still usable. I would just maybe not advise doing it in this manner when you're at home. So read the recipe fully and internalize it before you start baking, unlike me. So got my baking powder in there at long last. Got a little pinch of salt in there. You don't really have to measure this too much. And normally you should be sifting this in with the flour so that it distributes evenly among the batter, but yeah, we'll do that next time. This fun bowl also is it's from Mason Cash, which is a maker in England, and they use these same bowls on the Great British Baking Show. So Benjamina, if you're watching, I know what you are feeling. It is 1 billion degrees in here, which I know it was like that in the tent, or so I saw on TV. And I'm forgetting like basic baking skills, and I'm using a Mason Cash bowl. While the cake is in the oven, I am gonna put together a frosting, and it's just like a super simple mascarpone and confectioner sugar-based frosting. If you don't have mascarpone or don't like it, you can use cream cheese, or you skip the frosting entirely. I think the cake is great without it, but I'm gonna make it a little bit special today. So just going to, let me grab a little spoon, just get about 3/4 of a cup of mascarpone. It can be you can kind of eyeball it. We're just gonna put in, where's my 3rd cup measure, 2/3 of a cup of confectioner's sugar. That's 2/3. And then you can just do this by hand. You don't need a stand mixer or a electric whisk at all, which is great for me so I don't make another mess. Just gonna stir it together, and I would recommend that if you don't have a super hot kitchen like I do, to keep out the mascarpone for a little bit before you use it, because then it'll get super soft and really easy to mix the confectioner sugar with. So So that's all mixed together, and it's kind of like you can see the lumps of confectioner sugar sort of, you know, getting smaller, dissolving. I'm gonna add in just a small splash of vanilla extract. Don't really have to measure here. And then a few tablespoons of milk or heavy cream. We're just trying to loosen it up enough that it'll be kind of spreadable on the cake. And that's it. That's the frosting. Now that the cake's in the oven and we have our frosting all ready, I wanted to find out from you if there are any other books that you want to see me cook from. I generally lean towards vegetarian books because that's the type of food that I eat. And other than that, sort of sky's the limit. You can try another baking book if you want to see me epically fail. You can let me know books that are classic or ones that have just come out very recently. Really, anything is fair game. And if you like what you're watching and want to see more videos of me cooking from books, just like the video and subscribe if you'd like. It's been about 35-ish minutes. I'm just gonna check on our cake and see first of all if it's risen, but second, see if it's ready to take out of the oven. So you can do this in a couple of ways. You can see the color. It's nice and golden brown. It's kind of like sprung up on the top, and I actually like to use a paring knife and put it in sideways and see if it's come out clean. And it has, so it's ready to get out of the oven. So we are back. The cake is, I mean, for the most part, cooled. I'm impatient though, and I want to show you what it looks like all decorated. So we're just gonna roll with it. I have our kind of chilled frosting here, or icing, mascarpone icing, whatever you will want to call it, and my teeny tiny spatula, and I'm going to just dollop it on the cake. I mean, you don't have to be too delicate with it. Just kind of get it on there. It's super thick and creamy, but not too sweet. Just what I like. And just going to gently ease the frosting all around the cake. So that's probably about the extent of my food styling swirls right there. So what I'm gonna do is just now dress the cake with some beautiful blackberries, which are in season right now. But really, because the base is so versatile, you can kind of use any type of seasonal fruit that you would like. Then put some of our beautiful figs on here. How'd I do? Yeah? I mean, close enough. It'll taste really great. So I'm just gonna cut and also some sesame seeds to draw out the tahini nutty sesame flavor. So just on there, kind of around the perimeter. Look at that. Looks pretty good, you know? All right, I'm gonna find a little fork. Clean off the plate a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bite. First one without the figs, just so I can taste the cake and the frosting together. Mmm. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Wow. It's super rich and buttery and moist. Sorry for using that word. And really tangy and, I mean, a little bit cheesy from the mascarpone. Really nutty. You just get like that earthy savoriness from the tahini. And, you know, I gotta try one with the I feel like even if this blackberry is really sour, it will be super, super good with all the other really sweet and buttery and earthy elements of the rest of the cake. So I didn't mention it before, but this is the reason why I've been baking so much in quarantine and why I subjected myself and all of you to all of my sweatiness today while I was making it. Cake just always makes you feel better, especially right now. I feel like all of us could use a little bit of a pick-me-up.